Welcome back to the Good Father, the Really Good Podcast. I'm your host, Safari. I'm gonna be here to try to shed some light on the process of being a single dad, whether it be co-parenting as a single dad or being a single father, actually having your kids living with you 24/7. Today's topic is gonna be child support. And again, this is gonna be from the end of being a dad, being hit with that first with the initial breakup, because we're still doing the initial breakup here. And when you initially break up, if you're married legally, then you're going to have a what's called a Pendente Lite hearing, or a Pendente Lite hearing. For short, they call it Pendente Lite hearing, but it's basically a hearing that's going to determine temporary support for your spouse and for your kids before the actual divorce decree or before the actual custody agreement is put into place. So if you're not married, but you and your ex are fighting for custody, and you're going through the actual court system this way, and you're looking for support through the courts, not through child support, through like child support services, through your local state, where they're like, where you go to a place downtown and then they'll have a hearing in that little place, but it's not the courthouse. It's just child support services where they're doing a hearing at. This is separate. We're talking about when you're in court fighting for custody for your kids. And I recommend to all men, if there's a custody situation or if your children's mother is asking for child support, I recommend, I'm not a lawyer. Again, this is not legal advice, but this is what I did and this is what worked for me. May or may not work for you, but I implore you to do your homework. Study. Don't take my word for it. Study everything that I'm saying. Check it out for yourself. But with that being said, a lot of guys go into these custody hearings and these child support hearings for visitation. When you're just going for visitation, the court looks at you totally different than if you're a parent looking for custody. Not saying you want custody, but there's different types of custody. You have legal custody, decision making, and physical custody, where the kids live at. You want to be a legal custodian. You want to make decisions so your significant other can't just take the kids and dip off and leave. If you're just visitation rights, then she can do whatever she wants and you're pretty much stuck. Again, not legal advice, but that's just what it is. So let's get into this Pendente Lite hearing, or Pendente Lite for short hearing. Again, this is if you're going to court for like a divorce decree, or going for a divorce, or you're going to court for actual legal and physical custody, and not just for child support. In that case, this is what we're talking about for child support. So I want to clear that up. Now, if you're in a Pendente Lite hearing, they're going to want to know your financial records, and they're going to tell you to bring stuff to court. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. In court, you can bring documents, or you can testify. In court, understand that, again, it's not legal advice, but documents in court don't necessarily speak for themselves. Certain types of documents do, but not all documents speak for themselves. So therefore, you got to testify. So if you bring in a pay stub, that pay stub is no good unless you swear in court that it's legit. That's how it works. So you're not saying you don't have to take your pay stubs into court to report how much you make, but you can go in there and tell them what you make, because either way you still have to declare it in court. And silly me, I definitely declared it because I felt like big me, look at how much I'm making, not realizing that because I had commission associated with my money, I could have actually provided a lesser amount as far as what my actual base salary was, because my commission fluctuated so much just depending on the time of year. I couldn't be held to that standard, so they'd have to find the average and try to do it out that way. That would have been the correct way to do it. But I wasn't aware, but that's why I'm giving you the knowledge. So anyway, back to the hearing. When you get in there, they're going to ask you about your financials, your excess financials. If you make more, you're going to be paying more. Understand that. So if you're a guy like me who told the woman to stay home and take care of the kids, you're going to pay for that. That's a decision you got to live with. Now, again, if I get married again, it's going to be the same deal, same arrangement. Don't trip, but I'm going in with the understanding of you can get hit if things don't go the other way. but you can get prenuptial agreements and stuff like that to protect yourself, but that's not what this is about. So getting on with the child support. When they get in here, they have a calculation. So understand that the child support, I know everybody's like, you worry about how she spend it. Well, understand that the court is going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you, and research it yourself, please. The money that is given to your spouse or your ex is for support the kids. There's no determination. You don't get a detailed breakdown of how the money is spent. It's assumed that when it's provided, that you've done your obligation, and if she doesn't do what she's supposed to, then that's on her. Unfortunately, your kids suffer. In my case, the main reason why I fought for custody is because I was paying $1,000 a month in child support, and I went to go pick my kids up one day, and their mom had on some fresh Air Force Ones, some tight new apple bottom jeans on, fresh wig, fresh makeup, looking fly. Like, okay. And now look at my kids, hair nappy, looking dusty, holes in their pants, holes in their shoes. So yeah, I'm angry about this. So I mean, I couldn't stop the money, but I knew I had to fight. So understand that, again, that money that the court awards to her is for the kids. Now again, if you don't think it's being handled right, then you need to take the steps. Like I said, again, this is not legal advice. Let me take that back. You might want to take the steps that I've taken, which was to file for joint custody, legal and physical. Well, I filed for sole custody in the hopes and aim of getting joint custody. Aim for stars, land on the moon type deal. Understand that. So again, it's a strategy with it, and I don't want to say it like that, but I wholly and wholeheartedly intended to get custody of my kids. You may not necessarily want to have custody of kids, but you want to have a good visitation schedule. You want to have fair child support, and all that comes into play on how many overnights you have. So you have to understand that that does come into play. So I mean, if you want to be a weekend dad or every other week, once a month, holidays, then you're gonna pay the most. But if you want to be involved as you were when you were in the house, like you want to be there every weekend, you want to get an overnight during the week and take them to school and doctor's appointments, this is what you need to do. These are things that are going to reduce your child support. Being active and involved in your child's life. Money can't replace presence. So understand that if you do get hit with child support, it can be reduced by being more active. Overnights, if you have the child a third of the year, that's pretty much joint physical custody. There can be a reduction in child support. Doctor's appointments. Who's the actual primary caregiver? Well, my kids' mom had them. Even though I spent $1,000 a month in child support, I made it my business to take them to every doctor's appointment. Whatever. Dentist, eye appointment, annual checkups, physicals, whatever. Anything. I volunteered to make sure I did it. Because again, fast forward came down to court. Time look review all this stuff. Who's really doing everything? Yeah, the kids are there, but pretty much she came out looking like she warehoused the children. And I looked like I paid for the warehouse, I furnished the warehouse, I took care of the warehouse, and took the kids out of the warehouse to go have fun and back to the warehouse. That's what it ultimately looked like when I got done with the process. Now again, my journey took me 5 years, but in that 5 years I went from having supervised visitations, basically which meant no visitations, to unsupervised, to weekends, to 3 nights a week, to 4 nights a week, and then I wound up getting them because she got evicted when I lost my job. So again, with this child support, being active and involved in your child's life is a huge part. Saying it is one thing and actually doing it is another. And the judges look at what you actually do versus what you say. They may not seem like it, but a lot of people give a lot of lip service and don't put the work in. So listen, put the work in. Be there for your kids. That's how you combat child support. Is be active and involved in your kid's life. 100%, I guarantee it. And I'll post another video about dealing with those child support hearings. I've had a few instances a lot of close friends that have gone through those hearings. Like I said, learning from them, I avoided that because I understood what they went through, and I learned. I just say, no, it's somebody else's mistakes, not your own, and that's what I did. So again, video ran longer than I wanted to, but I'll drop another video about child support, dealing, and the hearings with child support services. So again, thanks a lot. I appreciate you do YouTube stuff. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's see if we can get to like 10, 12 subscribers. I'll check you out next video.